Forever. All right.
So JP, what do people need to know when they're starting up their first round of PFAS testing or they're continuing on with a PFAS project?
So I think what I would tell most folks is that PFAS testing seems like a really complicated process, but in reality, we try to make it as simple as possible. And then the best thing that a laboratory can do is provide a dedicated project management team that can work with these folks to build an analytical program that really suits their needs and satisfies their project scope.
So a single point of contact.
Single point of contact, technical expertise, and honestly, more importantly, access to other subject matter experts within the team. So I know you and I have been on calls with clients before where maybe there's a complicated project or a lot of questions about things like, how do I sample appropriately? Or we have maybe a research and development component. Bringing in folks like the lab director or yourself to talk with these folks and really hone in on what they're looking for so that the laboratory can optimize the analytical method and understand how we're going to process those samples to generate the best data possible.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know one of the goals is to always try to set them up for success.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what we're here for, right? The laboratory is a partner. Like, we're here, we want to make sure that the data we generate is going to be valuable for these clients. And it's as important to us that what happens in the field is done as correctly as what happens in the laboratory. The data is only going to be as good as the samples that are collected. So it's really important to us that we work closely with our clients to determine exactly what are they looking to do with that data, and how do we process those samples once they come in? What method are we going to deploy? What target analytes are we going to report to? What are the detection limits that our clients need? Maybe what are some of the interferences we might expect in those samples, and how do we deal with that in the laboratories?
Yeah, I think that's a really good one. I know that having that information come in up front, knowing what the sample, what to expect with those samples in terms of background chemistries and things like that can make things go a lot smoother too.
Absolutely. It's all about good communication and coordination. And, I'll brag on our project management team. I think they do a wonderful job of asking the right questions of these clients to make sure that we have as much information as possible to get them exactly what they need.
What do the customers need to come prepared to bring to the table when they're bringing a new project on board?
Yeah, great question. I think it's a one-word answer, which is why. Why are we testing? What are we looking to get out of this data? What are the goals? Are we looking to satisfy some kind of regulatory criteria? Are we looking at doing some internal testing just to figure out what's there? Are we looking at treatment technology and how to optimize it? These are all very different scenarios that may elicit very different analytical approaches in the laboratory. For us to understand exactly what the purposes of this data is will help set up the laboratory for success and ultimately the clients.
So a lot of information to help scope it out properly.
Absolutely. Yeah, the more information we have, the better everybody is set up for success.
Yeah. And remember, the world of PFAS is forever changing. Stay tuned for the next episode.